push back and believe anyway. If you don't believe in yourself, nothing works the way it should. That's the hard truth. You can have all the talent in the world, the best education, a sharp mind, or big dreams. But if deep down you constantly question your worth, you'll end up holding yourself back, often without even realizing it. You'll shrink in rooms where you were meant to shine. You'll stay quiet when you should have spoken. You'll wait for someone to give you permission to chase what's already calling your name. And worse, you'll talk yourself out of life-changing opportunities simply because self-doubt felt louder than self-belief. But here's the good news: confidence is not something you're born with, it's something you build. To become the person you're meant to be, you must stop depending on others to validate your potential. You have to learn how to think clearly, act with intention, and carry yourself like someone who already knows they deserve better, even if nobody claps for you yet. If you've ever felt stuck, lost, or unseen by the world, know that you're not alone. Many people feel this way, not because they lack potential, but because they've made the mistake of outsourcing their confidence to other people. They hand over their self-worth to the opinions of others, and let praise, or the absence of it, determine how they feel about themselves. But that's not belief. That's emotional dependence. That's slavery to opinions, and it's exhausting. Here's what you must understand: most people who doubt you are drowning in their own self-doubt. Their silence or skepticism isn't about you. It's about them. So stop giving them the final say in how you view yourself. Break that cycle. Let go of the constant chase for recognition, approval, or applause. Because that's when everything begins to shift. That's when you start to grow. Yes, it hurts when people don't see your vision. It's painful when you put your heart into something and feel invisible. That pain is real. But it's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to wake you up. It's meant to force you to stop waiting for validation and to start believing, truly believing, in yourself. Because once you believe, everything changes. Your energy becomes magnetic. Your decisions become clearer. You stop begging people to support you, and instead, you start building something so powerful that people can't ignore it even if they tried. But it starts with one brave decision: to no longer need anyone else's permission to begin. Not tomorrow. Not once you have more followers, more money, or more credentials. Now you have to decide, today, that your belief in yourself is enough to take the first step. If someone supports you, great. If not, it changes nothing. If they clap, fine. If they stay silent, you keep building, because the moment you hand your confidence to someone else, you've also handed them the power to break you. And that's a risk you cannot afford. Real self-belief is quiet. It doesn't scream. It doesn't beg for likes. It moves, steadily, consistently, powerfully. It shows up in how you treat your goals, your time, and yourself. And there's something powerful that happens when you stop waiting for the world to cheer you on. You become dangerous, in the best possible way. You stop fearing failure. You stop second-guessing your worth. You begin respecting yourself not for what you've done, but simply for who you are becoming. Most people delay self-respect. They tell themselves, once I hit that milestone, once I make more money, once I prove myself, then I'll finally feel proud. But that mindset traps you. Because if you keep postponing your own approval, you'll keep living like you're not enough today. That belief, that you're not enough yet, shows up in how you speak, how you walk, and how you let people treat you. It shapes your reality. So if you want to grow, you have to stop waiting for some future version of yourself to feel worthy. Start acting like that person now. That's not pretending. That's called alignment. Self-respect isn't something you find outside, it's something you cultivate every day. When you treat your time seriously, when you take care of your health, when you protect your focus and prioritize your dreams, you are showing yourself that you matter. You stop apologizing for dreaming big. You stop settling for less than you deserve. And most of all, you stop needing anyone to remind you of your worth, because you already know. Yes, there will be moments when your own mind becomes the loudest enemy. That voice of doubt will whisper, "You've never done this before." It will question your readiness, your ability, your value. Not because you're weak, but because stepping into the unknown is scary. But that voice, it's not there to guide you. It's there to protect you from discomfort. And guess what? Discomfort is the exact place where growth lives. So when your mind tells you you can't, that's exactly when you must push back. That's the moment you take one more step. You show up anyway. You act like the person you're becoming today, and over time, the belief you practice becomes the truth you live. Choose to keep going when your mind says you can't. You don't need to destroy that voice. You need to understand it. That voice is fear trying to protect you from discomfort, uncertainty, or failure. But you're not here to be protected, you're here to grow. You don't have to fight your thoughts. You just have to take back control. Your mind doesn't get the final say, you do. Fear doesn't decide what happens next. Doubt doesn't get to choose your future. Excuses don't lead your life. You do. Most people wait for motivation to overpower the voice of fear before they act. But that voice won't disappear just because you're inspired. It quiets down only when you take action. When you prove it wrong. Every time you push forward, despite resistance, you teach your brain a new truth: you can do hard things. That's how confidence is built. Not through fake positivity, but through proof. You show yourself that discomfort doesn't equal danger. You survive the struggle. You handle the pressure. And in doing so, your brain starts offering you a different voice, one that says, "You've done this before, you can do it again." That voice of belief doesn't show up overnight. It's earned, not given. And you earn it through repetition. Every rep, every hard choice, every moment you lean in when you'd rather run. That's how mental toughness is built. You become someone you respect, not because life got easier, but because you became stronger. You stop being shaken by every thought that tells you to quit. You stop backing down every time it gets hard. That unshakable version of you isn't found, it's built. And it's built in the moments when your mind says, "You can't," and you answer calmly, "Watch me." Every negative thought is a test. You don't need to obey it. You just need to notice the pattern and break it. When giving up becomes an option, everything starts to fall apart. Your energy shifts. You begin operating from fear instead of commitment. You start wondering if this is worth it, if you're capable, if it will even work. But quitting once makes quitting easier next time. That's why you must train yourself to do the opposite. To hold the line. To keep going when everything in you wants to walk away. That's how self-respect is built. When you're tired, show up anyway. When you're discouraged, remind yourself why you started. When it feels like nothing is working, take one more step. You must hold yourself to a higher standard when it comes to quitting. Expect more from yourself. Build the habit of staying in the game when it's hardest to do so, even if the progress is slow, even if the results are small. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're still moving, still showing up, still refusing to make quitting a comfortable option. Because once quitting becomes comfortable, it becomes familiar. And once it's familiar, it becomes who you are. Don't let that happen. Make a decision today to keep going, no matter what. Refuse to shrink. Own your power without apology. You've got goals. You've got dreams. You've got things that matter to you, and they deserve to be pursued with your full effort. But the truth is, nothing meaningful gets built by people who wait to feel ready, or who shrink themselves to keep others comfortable. You're not here to fit into someone else's expectations. You're here to rise, to stretch, to evolve. And that means choosing to take action, even when no one is watching. That's what real leaders do. That's what strong people build their lives on: consistency, not comfort. Discipline, not applause. They don't wait for someone to check in before they show up. They show up because the work needs to be done. Because their future depends on what they do in the silence, not in the spotlight. Real confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It's built in the moments when you kept going, not because someone told you to, but because you decided to. You didn't need permission. You didn't need an audience. You simply kept moving, day after day, privately, patiently, and that built something unshakable inside you. Internal strength. You've got to be careful with the voice in your head that whispers, "No one cares, so why should I?" That voice isn't truth, it's fear wearing a mask. It's weakness pretending to protect you. And if you listen to it, it will destroy your momentum. It will keep you small. But when you recognize it for what it is, you can override it. You can choose differently. The people who create something extraordinary out of their lives aren't the ones who were constantly praised. They're the ones who kept moving in the silence. They didn't rely on motivation to stay committed. They didn't need constant encouragement to move forward. They built their own fire. If you're always depending on external support to stay consistent, you'll always be vulnerable to disappointment. But when you build your own internal drive, you become unshakable. That's when you gain real power, because your momentum doesn't depend on anyone else. You become steady, focused, unstoppable. While others take breaks, you're still moving. While others wait for signs, you've already committed. While others need to be reminded, you've already taken the next step. That's the power of showing up without waiting to be told. That's how you build a mindset that can't be broken. It's easy to get discouraged when the validation doesn't come. But understand this: people are busy fighting their own battles. They may love you. They may believe in you. But they can't carry your dream for you. That's not their job. It's yours. That's your responsibility. And more importantly, it's your opportunity. The truth is, some of your biggest growth will happen in silence. In the grind. In the lonely places where no one notices your effort. Where you're the only one who believes. That's where character is built. That's where you become the version of yourself you've been imagining. And yes, there will be days where progress feels invisible. Where the journey feels more like survival than success. Those are the days where your discipline is tested. That's when you have to lean on your commitment, not your feelings. Because your feelings will tell you to slow down. To quit. To wait. But your commitment will whisper, "Keep going." You didn't come this far to give up when things got quiet. You didn't invest all this effort just to back down because no one clapped. You're better than that. You're stronger than that. You are someone who rises, no matter how long it takes, no matter how lonely the path, no matter how loud the doubt, and if you want a turning point, let it be now. Stand in front of the mirror. Look yourself in the eye and say the words that change everything: I'm ready. Not because everything is clear, but because you're done holding back. You're done waiting. You're done letting fear tell you who to be. Saying, I'm ready, doesn't mean you have it all figured out. It means you're willing. Willing to try. Willing to learn. Willing to get it wrong, but never willing to stay stuck. You've carried dreams inside you for too long. You've imagined the life you want, the person you could become. But imagining won't get you there. Thinking won't move the needle. At some point, you've got to decide. It starts now, and no, it won't be perfect. Yes, there will be fear. But readiness isn't about perfection, it's about decision. It's about courage. It's about finally stepping into the future you keep pretending isn't waiting for you. So stop shrinking. Stop apologizing. Stop lowering your voice just because your strength makes someone else uncomfortable. You don't owe anyone your silence. You don't need to dim your light to make others feel safe. Own your journey. Claim your future. Build your vision, and do it without shrinking, without hesitating, and without asking for permission. This is your moment. Say it. Mean it. Live it. I'm ready.